Black Veil Brides has made a lot of great albums over the years, but there are also some hidden gems in their less popular EPs. In this video, I will be ranking the 12 songs from Black Veil's 4 EPs: Rebels, The Night, The Morning, and of course, Bleeders. Also, for the most dedicated fans, no, I will not be ranking any of the band's bootleg releases from the early days. Those songs aren't my favorite, and I honestly don't know them well enough to make a video about anyway. I will say though, The Gunsling was the one song from the pre-Wee Stitch days that I actually really like. It would probably place around 6th on this list, but with all that said, let's get into the video. Enjoy. In last place, we have Unholy, a Kiss cover. Honestly, this cover is just a lateral move from the original. It doesn't really bring anything new to the table except a little bit of screaming, which is nice, admittedly. And Andy's voice doesn't really fit great for me either in this track. I think it fits much better with the original. But the original song also isn't my favorite. It's probably rated the same as this cover. They're basically just equivalents of each other with a few different aspects, and probably my least favorite of all of Black Veil's songs from the EPs. At number 11, we have another cover. This time it's Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2. Again, just like the last one, another very lateral move. This cover might even be slightly worse than the original, only because the heavier style doesn't fit very well with the song, which is odd because usually I like heavy covers more than the original. Andy's voice isn't a great fit either. I don't really like U2, but I think their rendition of the song is a little bit better, and Bono's voice fits better. There's not really much I can say about this, but yeah, just another mid cover. The first original track in this video, at number 10 we have Coffin, which is the only original track from Rebels. And being that sole original, it's a little bit underwhelming, honestly. I know it's one of their more viewed YouTube videos on their YouTube channel, but honestly, Coffin is just a kind of forgettable song for me. There are some cool riffs in some parts of the song, but that's pretty much all it has to offer. Some of the things are a little clunky, especially the chorus. It's not really catchy at all, and the harmonies are definitely a little bit rough. The guitar solo in the bridge is also a little bit disappointing. I think this song would have definitely benefited from a awesome guitar solo, but it just did not get one. My Friends, the first A tier song of the video. It's another cover, but this time it's a little bit different. It's a cover of a song from the soundtrack of Sweeney Todd, which I don't know if any of you have seen Sweeney Todd, but I had not until I listened to the Bleeders EP, and listening to that EP got me to watch the movie for the first time, and it was pretty good. I think Andy's voice fits great with this song. It's kind of similar to Johnny Depp's voice, and the music video is also super cool. I love the heaviness at the end of the song. That's what most people think of when they think of this cover. Most of the song is pretty much the same as the original until the end with some instrumental parts. And instead of having some violin and whatever else the original had, there's some really heavy guitar parts, almost djent kind of sounding. If you know what djent is, it's a very, very nice addition to this track. It fits seamlessly into the original version. I went into more detail about this song in its dedicated video from about a year ago, so if you want some more of my opinion on this, then just check that video out. Number 8 is Savior 2, another original track. This is the most popular song from the Morning EP back from 2022. Even though it is my least favorite, it's still a solid piece. Now, as you dedicated fans might know, this is a sequel to Savior, which was one of the tracks from Set the World on Fire over 10 years earlier. And the only thing that I have to complain about this track is there's not any heaviness like the original had. The original Savior was soft for the whole song until the very end, where some heavier instrumentals came in and some screaming. But Savior 2 doesn't really have that. Instead, it opts for a more hard hitting emotional approach without the use of screaming. It's still a great song with that. I think it still uses good use of the progression. The lyrics in this one seem almost Christian, despite Black Veil definitely not being a Christian band, which is a trend that appears a few times in this EP. I love the bridge of Savior 2. It is definitely my favorite part. The violin from Jinx is amazing, and the guitar solo is also very nice as well. Last thing, the last chorus is extremely climactic, as I mentioned a minute ago. The chorus itself is just very catchy. It almost sounds Christian, so you could probably play this song to your super Christian relatives and they would be none the wiser. It's just a very nice track. A slight step up, we have Devil, which for a while, this was actually my least favorite track from the morning. I would even have probably had it at a 7 out of 10, but recently it's been growing on me a little bit, mostly because of the riffage and the vocals. This is probably the second most popular track from the morning behind Savior 2, and I can see why. Black Veil kind of went for a more metalcore style here compared to most of their other music with a lot of the riffs, and especially the bridge, which I'll talk about in a minute. The main components of Devil are the bridge and the chorus. First off, the chorus, it's pretty solid. It feels a little bit off in its melody. I can't really explain it. It just feels a little bit wrong, but it's still good. But my favorite part, as you were probably expecting, is the bridge. Mostly because of the guitars, especially the solo. I think actually, I don't even remember if there are vocals in the bridge, but some of the riffs in the end of the bridge are amazing. The solo is very nice too. As I mentioned, Devil is a song that's very carried by its guitars. That was a tongue twister. It's completely carried by the guitars. The vocals are okay, but the guitars really make it itself and what it's known for. Just a nice metalcore style track overall. Another song from the morning, Better Angels. Honestly, Better Angels could easily be in the top 4 or 5 if not for the verses, which are just clunky and they don't work at all. Other than that, though, Better Angels is great. Its chorus is extremely catchy with a sort of modern metal vibe that you might see in the modern metal scene. The main riff is very catchy as well, and its constant repetition doesn't really get old like you would expect it to. My favorite part is, of course, the bridge. The transition from the second chorus into the solo is seamless, and the solo is very nice too. This is the last track on the Morning EP in terms of order, and I think it is a nice finish to the EP, a very solid EP. Alright, number 5, Saints of the Blood. This is the first of 2 entries on this list from the Night EP. A very catchy modern metalcore track with amazing guitar work. Honestly, this could bump up to an 8.5 if it grows on me a little bit more. It's just on the cusp of jumping up. But the whole song keeps high energy, which fits the lyrics and instrumentation well. That's kind of the main appeal of the track. There's also great use of gang vocals, especially in the chorus and bridge, which is a Black Veil staple. The build-up at the beginning of the bridge, the we are part, leads into the solo amazingly as well. Super great use of gang vocals and also just an amazing transition there. The solo itself is very nice and it fits the sound of the song perfectly. And of course, the transition into the last chorus is great. And the chorus itself, while probably being the weakest part of the track to me, is very climactic and it finishes off the track very nicely. Number 4, Rebel Yell, the last cover on my list. Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, and also my favorite track from Rebels. Before I talk about the track itself, I want to tell you a funny story related to this song. A few years ago in high school chemistry class, my friend and I got into a pretty heated discussion about whether the original Rebel Yell or Black Veil's cover was better. Obviously, being the emo freak I am, I said Black Veil's cover was superior, but my friend disagreed. To settle the debate, my chemistry teacher, who's a big rock and metal fan, played both versions for the whole class, and they ultimately decided on the original, but I am dying on this hill no matter what. But now onto the actual song. I think it is a considerable improvement from the original. I'd rate the original an low 8 out of 10, so this is a good jump. It is also a great choice to turn a song to metal. Like Sunday Bloody Sunday didn't really work when it was metalized, but Rebel Yell was a great choice for Black Veil here. Andy's voice is a great fit, and the guitar riffs throughout the entire song are just great. Replacing some of those synthesizer sounds I think that Billy Idol used in his original, I think the guitar riffs are a great replacement for that. I like that Black Veil in this song kept the one lyric in the second verse that Billy Idol uses in his live shows. If you know, you know. And the guitar solo in the bridge is one of my favorite from Black Veil's early days. This EP came out in, I believe, 2011, between Set the World on Fire and Wretched and Divine. So at this point, this was one of their best solos. And after that solo is the transition into the last chorus, and I think it is super cool, especially when turned metal. Honestly, I think this is just a great cover for Black Veil to make. It's one of my favorites on this video. Number three is The Revival, my favorite track from The Morning, and unfortunately it also seems to be the least popular from that EP. The lyrics of it, similar to Savior 2, seem Christian, which is, again, interesting. I don't really have the time to break down the lyrics, but it's just something I thought was cool. This song, the reason it's so high is it's just ridiculously catchy from start to finish. From the riffs to the verses to the chorus, just amazing work from the boys at Black Veil. It has a pretty standard solo for being a Black Veil song. Nothing crazy, just very solid. And for once, the bridge is actually not my favorite part. I have to give that title to the last chorus. While the hook in the chorus is on the poppier side, it still fits incredibly well with the modern metal instrumentation and Andy's vocal style. All elements of this track go together flawlessly, and I wish it got more attention from the fanbase. A big jump up to number 2, The Vengeance. This is the first S tier entry in this video, and boy is it a big one. This is one of my top 5 favorite Black Veil Bride songs, and also one of my top 50-ish favorite songs ever. This song is mostly carried by the guitar work. Every single riff, lick, note, everything guitar related in this track is absolutely perfect. The vocals are also very nice, but that's not really what I care about here. Right off the bat, in the first seconds of the song, some crazy guitar comes in with some slamming drums, and you already know this is going to be an absolute headbanger. The verses are probably the weakest part of the track, but that is still no small feat, as they themselves are still amazing and build up well to the main centerpiece, which is the chorus. The chorus is probably my favorite part of the song, specifically the last one. It's just so catchy, and the synergy with the vocals and instrumentals is pristine. The bridge is not far behind that though. It starts off by slowing things down to make way for the solo, which is one of my favorite Black Veil solos ever. It's a miracle that's not my favorite part of the song. Another general thing I love about The Vengeance is that it's very fun to whistle the whole way through. A weird talent, and the only talent that I have, is whistling really well, and this is a super fun one to whistle. Just a random fact I thought I'd throw out there. It's hard for me to truly describe the greatness of this song sonically, so I recommend just listening to it yourself if you haven't already. It has some of the vibes of some of their earlier stuff, like the not unknown, but little known bonus track, Sons of Night. It has a very similar vibe to that, with the lyrics and the sound. I just definitely recommend checking The Vengeance out, and this whole EP. Alright, now for number 1, my second favorite Black Veil song ever, Bleeders. Bleeders was the first Black Veil release I ever got to witness in real time. I got into the band in late 2023, so this song and EP were timed super well for me. I vividly remember when the teaser trailer for this song was posted on Black Veil's YouTube, and there are very few times I've ever been more excited for something in my life. When the song itself was dropped, I no joke listened to it 45 times in the first 2 days it was out. Yes, I'm serious. Bleeders is the best song I've ever been there to witness its release for, and I'm so happy I got to be one of the first people to hear it. I'm about to go into a very long-winded rant about this track, so prepare yourself. Before I even talk about the song, I just want to acknowledge the music video. For the dedicated fans, you already know that Bleeders' music video is based off the movie Sweeney Todd, which I talked about earlier. Andy plays the character super well, and the song itself and his voice fits the vibe of the movie perfectly. As for the song itself, it's one of my top 20 favorite songs of all time. The eerie opening sets up the verses perfectly. It almost has a little bit of like a modern rap track vibe in the opening. That might be totally wrong of me because I don't listen to rap, but it's just a thought that came to mind. The verses are very suspenseful and introduce the heaviness seamlessly in the pre-chorus. The lyrics as well are super cool. They kind of give off this vibe of anger and, revenge, obviously, with the movie. The pre-chorus is one of my favorite parts of the track. The heavier guitar and drums in that part just hit my soul in a way that I can't really describe. The chorus is actually one of the weaker parts of the song. I think it's actually worse than the pre-chorus. It's still amazing, obviously, but not my favorite. But the best part of the track is absolutely the bridge, no contest. This is Black Veil's sickest breakdown ever. Every single member of the band absolutely kills it here, especially CC with the drums. The solo is a little bit predictable and sounds kind of like a lot of other Black Veil solos, but the background instrumentation makes up for that tenfold. Andy's scream at the end of the solo is a perfect transition to the ending section of the breakdown as well, which we partially heard in the teaser trailer, even though it's a little bit different. It's an incredible breakdown overall. It might be a little underwhelming for some super heavy metalheads, but I think this breakdown is just the right amount of heavy, but also fun and listenable, and you can actually kind of tell what's going on. But a bridge is not complete without a transition back into the chorus, and Bleeders again delivers with an awesome transition to a very climactic last chorus using CeCe's incredible drum skills. I really love the line at the end of this track as well. Every one of us are bleeders. It's super cool and also hits hard. The only complaint is I think it would be a little bit cooler if he said, every one of us a bleeder, just because it fits with the previous choruses a little bit better. We're not done there though. At the end of the last chorus, part of the breakdown comes back to give the listener a few more seconds of epic Black Veil Bride's mastery and some screaming. Overall, Bleeders, as I said, one of my favorite songs of all time, an absolute masterpiece from one of my favorite bands, and I am so glad I was there to witness its release. There you have it, my ranking of the songs from Black Veil Bride's EPs. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you'd like to see more similar content. This is the 7th in a series of 9 Black Veil Brides related videos on my channel, so check out the previous installments and look out for the last 2 if you're interested. My next video will be the ranking of the band's 6 studio albums. I'm really excited to make that one. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching and have a nice day, guys.